Halfway through the round of 16 now, ladies and fellas, and yet another host has fallen, as well as the all-time leaders in World Cup titles. What's up? I'm Adrian, and let's get into this. My friends, what a start to this game. First though, Brazil with a change, and that Martinelli started ahead of Paquetá in the midfield of a 4-3-3, which was interesting. In possession, you'd see him sort of float to the left to support Vinicius Jr. Out of possession, he was tracking back to defend, but my goodness. 2.5 minutes in, and Norway had scored. Berg, the guy who I said in the preview would run through Brazil's midfield with brilliant but slow Casemiro in it, ran right through everybody to finish off an attacking move by Norway. Great strike into the top corner, but Sorloth was offside earlier in the play, so it was ruled out. But there was a real breakneck pace to this game. It was fun to watch. Each side was able to carve their way through the other. Well, to be honest, Norway struggled to do much with the possession they had in the first half, but Brazil was finding their way through as once again, Vini Jr. was looking lethal out there. Cunha, he's often a threat, and he was taken down in the box at one point. One of the most blatant penalties you'll see, no need to convince there, though I'm surprised that the referee hadn't given it immediately, but he got there in the end. Bruno Guimaraes has had a great tournament, tons of assists so far. He's been excellent in that regard, but when he stepped up to take this penalty, he hit a bit of a smelly one. The perfect height and placement for a goalkeeper to save it, and since Nyland already guessed right, he did indeed save it. After the game, Ancelotti said that the ranking of their penalty takers was Neymar, Igor Thiago, Rafinha, then Martinelli and Guimaraes, for anyone who was wondering why Vinicius Jr. didn't take it. Norway had a great chance via Odegaard, but Alisson made a nice save, and beyond that, that was more or less the first half. Norway struggled to create chances with their possession at first, but grew into the game as time went on. In fact, they were the better team on the other side of halftime. Brazil looked extremely flat, but Endrick came on for Cunha and nearly scored immediately. Gorgeous through ball from Vini, made a mess of the finish thanks to a bad touch before it, but Brazil's tempo did increase with Endrick out there as they were slow to start that second half. But they started creating chances. You had Bruno Guimaraes denied and close by Nyland, his new nemesis of all of Brazil really, though they were mostly wasteful. Nyland did his part, but Brazil should have had 2 goals by this point. And you know what happens when you don't take your chances, and there's someone like Erling Haaland on the other team. From Michel Cross, who was brilliant when he came on the pitch at halftime, by the way, really good performance from him. Erling Haaland dominated Gabriel in the air and powered a header past Alisson for 1-0 Norway. That took Haaland up to 6 goals in 4 appearances. The guy is a monster. Ayer nearly threw the lead away though with a strange intervention that sent the ball looping towards his own goal. It was going in, forcing Nyland into another incredible save, just pushing the ball onto the post and out. Can you imagine? It would have been the most gorgeous own goal of the tournament for sure, but very unfortunate. Brazil would push and they would look dangerous at times, such as Casemiro getting in behind Norway's back line in the box and just needed to square the ball to Neymar. Yes, Neymar was on the pitch, he came on, and Brazil could have equalized, but he mishit it, Casemiro that is, and powered it past all of his teammates and out for a goal kick. Another squandered chance from Brazil. And like I said, you do that with Haaland on the pitch and you are flirting with disaster. And from a complete half chance outside of the box, Haaland controlled, then hit a hopeful strike low through the legs of Marquinhos, I believe it was Marquinhos, and placed it perfectly in the bottom corner out of Alisson's reach. Unreal strike, a bullet. That took him up to 7 goals in 4 appearances, easily the best strike rate of anyone in the tournament because the other 2 on 7 goals, Mbappe and Messi, have played 5 matches. From there, the Brazilians were just mad. It seemed like Neymar was just out there to fight and argue with people. He would score from the penalty spot, though, after mouthing off to the Norwegian keeper, converting it, then continuing to mouth off with him. Like, dude, you just put the ego aside for now. You're losing, you're getting eliminated, just get the ball and run back. Because nothing else happened, despite yet another match going way past the additional time that was initially given, so Brazil are eliminated before the quarterfinals. This hasn't happened since 1990, and once again, it was against a European opposition. In 2022, it was Croatia, before that Belgium, Germany in 2014, Netherlands in 2010, France in 2006. They are really in a poor place. Think of how different this match potentially could have been with a little bit of composure. Composure to finish the penalty, composure to score when you're one-on-one with the keeper. In Endrick's case, it was just a complete lack of it. Norway, on the other hand, remain unbeaten against Brazil in 5 matches. They have 3 wins and 2 draws, and they have now made history as they have made the quarterfinals for the first time in their history. I really did think that Brazil would see this through. Again, maybe with some composure they would have, but where I thought Vini would be the difference maker in this game, it was Erling Haaland. What a performance from him, and I do think Sheldrip has showed himself well here, I should say. Bob was also good down the right. I don't know that they start the next match as their impact off of the bench. Maybe it was Solbakken prefers. Speaking of the next match, the final match at the Azteca in this tournament, the final match outside of the US in this tournament. What a shame. But it was delayed by a full hour, which I really didn't love to see. I'm sure the Brits didn't love it either. Just 1 minute in, and you had Rice getting a yellow for kicking Romo in the head, a light kick, of course, of which Romo made the most of it. Just a yellow. I'm fine with that. Raul Jimenez made the most of a cross, where he dove low to head it at goal and forced a fantastic save out of Jordan Pickford. A lot of the action before the hydration break came via Mexico. Gilberto Mora was showing some great shows of skill. Quansah was struggling to protect that right side of England's defense. He started at right back, by the way. Warning signs there, as that's where Quinones operates. Mexico were controlling possession quite well. They were working the ball around the England box, but having difficulties penetrating, getting into the box beyond that, Jimenez chance. England were defending very compactly in their 4-4-2 shape without possession, and the Mexicans just couldn't break it down. After a ball played over the top to Jimenez was collected by Pickford, Rice went in the other direction with a driving run, laid the ball to his right for Saka, and Saka's ball into the box was met by the trailing run of Jude Bellingham. Great counter from England after all of that pressure from Mexico, and that was the first time in history that Mexico had gone behind in the Azteca in a World Cup match. And things would go from bad to worse for them. Mexico losing the ball in the middle of the pitch almost immediately with numbers forward. England counter, and a squared ball through the 6-yard box is tucked in by Bellingham again. It looked like it could get ugly, but this was a stunning match. A cross into the England box was dealt with very poorly by Quansah, putting it on a play for Quinones, the last man you want to have a free strike from a few yards out. And of course he converted to make it 2-1, and the chances didn't stop there, man. There was a huge push from Mexico, who were dominating England. Great saves from Pickford, a last-ditch clearance from Bellingham off of the foot of Montez with the goal at his mercy. If you miss this match, I feel terribly for you, as it was a delicious meal, because after halftime, England came out with that same kind of fire that Mexico were playing with, but maybe a little too much. Jarell Quansah came flying in on Gallardo with his studs showing, rides over the ball and straight into the leg of the Mexican player. After review, that's an easy red card. Don't worry though, Quansah. Keir Starmer will call up Infantino and get that suspension lifted for you. What a farce, man. I can't believe that happened with the US. And then a penalty for England. This game was ridiculous. What a match. Anthony Gordon latched onto a loose ball, touched it around the keeper Rangel, who caught Gordon. Clear penalty. No complaints there. And Kane made no mistakes from the spot. No stutter step nonsense, just running up to the ball and hitting it to the corner of the goal with authority as well. Guess what? Another penalty. Kane kicked Gutierrez in the box. He got none of the ball, kicked Brian Gutierrez's leg into the ball, actually. Another easy, non-debatable call. Raul Jimenez did go for the stutter step, but which is not my favorite. It's not my favorite. But he did convert past Jordan Pickford, so okay. After the hydration break, you could really notice how England were having some difficulties, looking absolutely exhausted. They were tiring, but maybe all that altitude talk, maybe that was finally hitting them. Plus, the idea of having to play a man down. Whew, it was an absolute flurry of half chances out there. But there was one great one, in my opinion, and that fell to Edson Alvarez with a free header missed completely. Could have had another penalty potentially when Guillermo Martinez was double-teamed by Guehi and Byrne, I believe it was. Guehi having two handfuls of his shirts to drag him down. You're playing with fire when you do that. But in the 11 minutes of added time, England's defending was incredible. The box absolutely stuffed with defenders, dealing with nearly every single ball that came into the box. All that Mexico had were half chances, nothing more. ended 3-2 England. 3 Lions playing in the Azteca after the match. Not what they wanted to hear, but yes, it was a performance that was exactly what it needed to be for England. Grind out a win in a very difficult place where you become just the 3rd team to beat Mexico in a competitive fixture at the Azteca. That is a huge accomplishment. And that sets up a quarterfinal against Norway. That is as exciting as they come in this tournament. Really looking forward to that one and seeing if Haaland can cause some issues against a back line that he knows so well. The loss of Bellingham is huge. Quansah is an interesting loss to see what Tuchel does for the right back if Reece James isn't fit still. But that's a chat for another day. Now today we will see another quarterfinal being set up. A big day for me in particular. Portugal versus Spain, and then of course USA versus Belgium. So I'll see you tomorrow, fellas. Take care.